speaking, and welcome to this video. Right, Eldar learning curve, and today we are looking at the Falcon. So when I first started playing the Eldar army, the Falcon had just gone out of flavour. Previously in 4th edition, the clown car as it was called, the Falcon with some Harlequins in, was doing really well, and then things changed in 5th edition, mainly with the troops. Troops being more scoring based rather than, in 4th edition anything could score, and then they changed it to troops. And the Falcon went out of flavour a little bit, mainly because it only has a transport of 5 men. So people were going over to the Wave Serpents more with Dire Avengers and stuff, and that's a good option. But personally, I actually loved the Falcon. In 5th edition, I did really well with it. Now you had to put the points in, you had to take hollow fields, you had to take star engines, you had to take vectored engines, but yeah, stick 5 Dire Avengers in there, potentially with a Farseer as well, fortune the tank up. You used to get 4+ cover saves for moving fast. It was an awesome, really resilient unit, and in those days you could score just by having the troops inside the tank. You don't have to get them out like you do now. But things have changed in 6th edition. Before we do that and talk about that, let's have a look at the model. So I have magnetised mine just like all the other stuff. You'll notice also that I have slightly different sections because this is all Forge World. So this piece here, this fin at the back, these here as well, that's Forge World. And then the vectored engines, that's Forge World, but they just pull out, and I've put my star engines just on here. They're magnetised on. I've also magnetised the guns, so if I get any weapon destroyed results, and the turret magnetised, and I've also magnetised the front gun. So in 6th edition, how are we going to use this? Is it worth it? Well, let's have a look at the upgrades first. Hollow fields. These are my Forge World hollow fields on here. I would say just not worth having hollow fields nowadays. I mean, we've gone to hull point, so anything that's strength 6, any strength 6 gun is going to cause 3 glancing hits of this, or could potentially cause 3 glancing hits, and that's your hull points gone. It doesn't matter if you have these hollow fields. Basically, the hollow fields are here, so if you do get a penetrating hit, your opponent has to roll 2 dice and then take the lowest result. But let's face it, hull points it's just not worth it. So this is a no to hollow fields. Star engines, again, it probably just isn't worth having star engines. They're fairly expensive points wise, really, and they only give you an extra 6 inches. Which, considering how fast the tank can actually go, again, it's just not worth it. And vectored engines, once again, really with hull points floating around, it's just not worth it. So I would say no to all the upgrades, which is totally different to how I used to play it. The gun on the front, is it worth having that? I would say it probably is worth it, because after all, this is a gunboat, so that'll give you 3 strength 6 shots. This gun you have to take, a nice long range gun with 2 shots. The gun on the other side is your choice. The most preferred one is this setup, which is your Bright Lance, because you've got sort of anti-tank on there. Although I have used scatter laser combination, scatter laser and this big gun. And the only thing with the scatter laser, if you're shooting long range, you haven't got any other guns that match it. Whereas if you had a missile launcher on there, or the Bright Lance, at least you've got a gun which can match this gun. So yeah, I mean, I would say Bright Lance really is probably your best bet, especially if you do have a Farseer inside guiding the thing, because again, like all the other Eldar stuff, it hits on 4s. So yeah, it's worth potentially guiding it if you were going to use it. I say if you're going to use it, because I think there are some better options really now. The tank is 115 point base, and then when you put your guns on there, it starts to add up, and then especially if you want to put something inside, and what do you put inside? Because let's face it, 5 Dire Avengers just isn't going to do the trick anymore. I mean, you get those guys out, they're dead. they're going to get shot to bits. I mean, okay, if you've got last turn, go in turn 5, get them out. If the game ends, you know, you've potentially got an objective, but if the game doesn't, they're dying next turn. So Harlequins, I mean, is it worth putting Harlequins in there? Probably not. You can't assault, you can't get out and assault like you used to be able to. So what do you put in there? Fire dragons? Well, arguably yes, fire dragons. But if I was going to have fire dragons, I'd put them in a wave serpent. All you're going to be doing basically with your fire dragons, you're going to turn 1, you're going to be moving as fast as you can to get your fire dragons into position. And if you're moving fast, you're not going to be shooting, so why have all these guns? So a bit of a quandary really. You could take it as a little tank, like a gunboat, but then if you're going to do that, there are potentially better options. I mean, we're going to have a look at fire prisms in a minute, and I think once you look at that video, you'll quickly see that sadly, because I love the model, I think it's a brilliant model, I think it's a fantastic little gunboat, but it's just difficult to find a reason to use this in the current situation that we are. Things may change, new codex potentially coming out in June. Be interesting to see what they do for this little beastie, but for now I don't really play mine, and yeah, what can I say? Falcon, nice model. Currently I would say no to putting it into your list, but next we're going to look at something where I'm definitely going to say yes for your list, and that's the fire prism. So let's have a look at the fire prism and see what that has for us.